welcome to another episode of Accessibility. It's a show on YouTube where I talk about the video game industry, accessibility, and representation. Basically, how can we help more people to play games, and more people to see themselves in the games they play? A lot of the time, when we talk about video game accessibility, we restrict the conversation to develop created settings that are available in a game at launch. That's an important part of the conversation. That's the accessibility settings that everyone will have access to and will know exist. But a big part of the conversation around accessibility also needs to consider fan-created accessibility mod support. Stardew Valley is a top-down pixel art RPG all about living on and operating a farm. You can tend to your plants, look after your animals, socialise with all the villagers in town. It's just a sweet, wholesome, charming little game. On PC, the game requires the use of WASD keyboard controls, which are not accessible to all kinds of gamers, so someone has recently gone and created a mod which makes the game more accessible to people who can't use those controls. So today, on Accessibility, we're going to talk about Stardew Speak, a mod that allows for playing Stardew Valley entirely with voice commands. We're going to talk a little bit about how those voice commands work, and some of the aspects of this mod that make it more accessible than other attempts at this sort of thing have been in the past. A big thank you to Stephen Spon over at Able Gamers for bringing this mod to my attention via a Twitter thread, where he confirmed the mod had finally allowed him to play Stardew Valley for the first time. Posted to Reddit by E.V. Fredrickson, Stardew Speak allows for full voice control of playing Stardew Valley. The voice detection involved in the mod works offline, and seems to have a pretty high level of voice detection accuracy. The mod does require around 2.5 GB of RAM in order to be able to manage voice detection in real time, so it can be a bit resource intensive for older machines, and probably isn't suitable to run alongside any other resource heavy applications. What makes Stardew Speak so interesting to me is the high level of thought put into context related interactions. Sure, you can tell your character to walk south and then tell them to stop, but you can also use the command go to farm to walk your character towards their farm, regardless of their current location. The same works for a variety of other in-game locations. You can tell your character to walk somewhere and they will plot a route to find that location. Players working their farms can use voice commands to have their farmer automatically clear a set material from the nearby vicinity, with commands including clear debris and clear grass, with the stop command being useful if you're about to clear up an instance of an item you don't want to disrupt at that time. While managing your farm, there are commands for watering crops and harvesting any that are fully grown, as well as commands to pet all animals in your current location and milk all animals in your current location. When fishing, there's a voice command available which can automatically complete the fishing minigame for you if you find that easier. When it comes to combat, attack and defend commands set your default behaviour, either moving towards enemies swinging, or waiting for openings to counterattack, and will continue until all enemies on screen or nearby are defeated. I'm skipping over a lot of the specific settings available in this mod, but if you want to look at the complete list, I've included a link in the video description below. The main thing to understand is that these commands are not just simple replacements for button presses. Several of them are contextual and will actively automate complex tasks based on simple commands, which really helps with the game's playability. I'm personally not the target audience for this mod, but I trust Stephen's judgment on it implicitly. Having played it, he says that while the voice support is pretty consistent and understanding what you're saying, it can be a little finicky in places, which is understandable. All voice support tends to be a little bit like that, and you have to be okay with talking a lot, and whoever's in the room with you, if someone's in the room with you while you play, being okay with you talking all the time. But having had a look myself through what the mod supports in terms of what the voice commands do and what they automate, this really seems like one of the more intelligently made voice command mods for a video game, and I'm really impressed by it. It's a real shame that a fan had to step in and make this mod support for the game, but I am so glad that Stardew Speaks exists, because it really seems like it's going to open up Stardew Valley, a really wonderful, charming, sweet little wholesome game, to a whole new variety of people, and that's nothing but a positive.